Welcome. It's great to see you. We're here again at 5784 Amelia Springs Circle. And as you probably remember, we held an open house last Saturday here at this property. And we want to thank you for your support because we had a great turnout.
Oh, good.
In addition, we were blessed to receive 3 offers. And then, fortunately, we went under contract the following day.
We were so happy. Our clients were so happy. We were so
we were
happy.
Thrilled.
It was wonderful. And then, Ray and I started talking like, this is just the start.
The work just now starts.
There is a lot to do before we get the closing.
Certainly is.
So one of those things, for example, that we do has to do with the HOA and or condo docs, depending on where the
big
house
part
is.
of the process.
This particular home is in a community that has an HOA. So we had to order the resale package. And we did that way in advance before we even went on the market. The reason being that it takes up to 2 weeks sometimes.
And just the ordering process alone can be monumental.
That's right. And you might think it's not a big deal, but the reason that we do this is in Virginia, buyers have 3 days to decide whether they like what they read in the HOA docs. They can void that contract with no penalty.
It hurts.
And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that to our clients at all. So we try to get that in as quickly as possible. And so you get that 3-day right to void out of the way and you can continue on the process.
Yeah, it's a heck of a process.
It is.
Let's not forget about inspections, right? So, following the delivery of the HOA docs, many times either in coordination with that time frame of the HOA docs and truly the condo docs in addition, if we're in a condominium association, we have the inspections. And in today's market, with more inventory coming on, we're seeing more and more offers that do include home inspections. So just like these offers that came in on this property, that's the real next hurdle we go through.
Correct.
And many of the home inspections also include a void notice possibility. So we try to make sure that that time frame for the home inspection is just as quick as possible. We certainly are very involved with our buyer agent and getting a time that works for everybody, of course, making sure they have access to the property. But prior to that, similar to getting the property ready for sale, we just go through the property and make sure that all the light bulbs are fresh, the air filters have been changed, and that everything seems to be in working order so that when the inspector comes through, many times the buyer is there with them. We want that buyer really to fall in love even more than they already are with the property. So we help to coordinate with the buyer agent, again, while they're here at the property, staying in constant communication with them. Are there any concerns that may have risen? Are there any perhaps questions that may arise? So we try to keep that communication going on. And then, of course, after the home inspection, we're in touch with the buyer agent. Just kind of give us an overview. Let us talk to our sellers about how this went.
Correct.
So once we get through that, then of course the buyer will make a decision. And at that point, we either proceed on, we receive perhaps a list of questions or requests for repairs. So we negotiate and work through that process as well. The other inspections, not on this particular property that we're starting to see again, are the well and the septic inspections. So very similar to the home inspection, we work through again with the buyer agent and consult with our seller with any questions or concerns that may come up. Very similar process.
Correct. And there's a lot of negotiation involved in this process.
A lot of discussion.
This is probably, I think for agents, one of the toughest processes to go through is that negotiation with inspection. It can be touchy.
Yeah.
Another thing is, Ray kind of mentioned it, is communication just across the board.
It's absolutely essential these days, right?
Always has. Undervalue having an agent who's able to communicate with everyone. And that's not just the inspector, that's the lender, because there's so many deadlines that are baked into these contracts. And if any of them are missed, you kind of jeopardize, the contract, and you want to protect your client. And so one of the things we do is to stay in communication all the time with the lender. How is the mortgage application process going? Has it gone to underwriting as yet? Is there any other information you need at this point?
Absolutely.
Just to make sure it's going along smoothly. And the same thing with the title companies. They do title searches. They may need a survey. I think you reminded me of that. And, I sometimes forget it, but if you have large plots of land, they might need to do a survey as well. How is that going? Has it been completed?
Yeah, even in these communities where you may have some encroachment, perhaps fences, perhaps decks.
That's right.
Sometimes, I've told you these boring stories. I've had a new home project where the builder just pushed everything down the row. It was a survey problem on the initial property, which led to consecutive properties having encroachments. It was a real mess,
I've seen those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well as can be handled the appraisal, all right? I mean, let's not forget about the appraisal.
That's a biggie.
Yeah, in today's marketplace, especially when you're starting to see these prices escalate up, we all are nervous about the appraisals. We obviously look, as we talked to you in previous videos, we look at the market values, we price our properties to go in the market, but many times, and this is a similar situation to this property, the sales price will be greater than the initial list price. So we're all making sure that we're watching the marketplace to see where these prices are going, what properties are coming on the market, what properties are settling after we've already put the property under contract.
Yep.
So all this leads to a meeting with the appraiser. And the appraiser will come in, and we certainly don't try to, if you will, manipulate the appraisal process or do anything other than what is regulated within the industry. But we do meet with the appraiser at the property. We provide them with information about the property, many times a plat, floor plan, and any improvements that the seller has made to the property since they purchased it.
Correct.
And maybe some of the great options that they had. This is the original owner here at Amelia Springs Circle. So they had a number of options that were added to the property when they bought it new. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create as many properties that have closed and perhaps even those properties that are under contract that we can provide to the appraiser, and then ask that appraiser, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns in the process, by all means, please reach out to us. Please have a conversation with us before you would turn in an appraisal that would be below the sales price.
Correct. And then you haven't even touched on, but VA loans have different requirements from conventional loans as well when it comes to that appraisal process. So there's a lot. I think the bottom line is that there's a ton of work to be done after going under contract. A ton of work. And I think you love when everything goes smoothly, but I think the value of a really good, experienced agent is when things don't go as well as you might want. And having an agent who's able to be professional, level-headed, and get through the process. I think the most important thing is to get to that finish line.
Yeah, the professional agent is always so valuable.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for tuning in. We hope that we've been able to provide you with some valuable information. And as always, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And importantly, tune in to our website, homeestaterealty.com. Again, we create a blog from this material and we post that each week. So please take a look at that as well.
Yes. So until next time.
We hope to see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.